Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. And today we got a special guest on, a returning guest, Jaden Knowles with us. But then we also got Jay Smith with Unfair Sports. Go ahead and just say hi to him, everybody.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, you
It's
said the
good.
fans. My fault. I'm a rook at this.
Hey, you know what? That's okay because you're going to be on TV one day giving up all those weather broadcasts. So everybody will be able to tune in and watch those here in Oklahoma or wherever you're located. Because weather seems to be a big thing right now. Let's
Yep.
talk about that weather a little bit. So, Miami Hurricanes, obviously, they're not doing too hot this season. They just got blown out by Middle Tennessee. And then not only that, but that's the state of Florida right now. They're bracing themselves for a big hurricane. What do you think about that out there?
Right. They just got to be careful out there. I believe the storm is set to hit either late tonight or tomorrow near the South Florida area, the Tampa area especially. They just got to be careful and stay weather alert. As we say here.
Yeah, yeah. So, in terms of a hurricane, so for a lot of the people here in Oklahoma, we understand what tornadoes are. What's the difference between a tornado and a hurricane, and what's like the level differences? Is there anything specific about this one that makes it more dangerous than others, or?
They're both definitely dangerous. And, it can take lives, can destroy. Both similar in that aspect. Both similar in winds. Tornadoes winds can get very high, as well as hurricane winds. I mean, the main difference is just water and on land. Honestly, if you just want to simplify it, they're both very, very dangerous to human life and actually, destruction on buildings and valuable things. So
Yeah.
Yeah, let me jump in on that one. I think the one thing that makes hurricanes kind of, well, in some people's aspect, they say they kind of like hurricanes a little bit more than the tornado because with the hurricane, you usually get a couple of day advance
right,
notice
that's
that
the
it's
main
coming.
difference right there. Yeah, you can actually
You
plan
watch
for a
it.
hurricane. Yeah.
Right. You watch it form out in the middle of the ocean for,
Hmm.
2 or 3 days, and then you're like, oh, this is what's coming. Whereas a tornado, it just decides to touch down whenever it feels like. It gets
Right.
bored and decides to go ahead and run through the checkerboard and get a score. It's
Mhm.
like, nah, man, we got to call a play first. Can we get a play
Right.
call first?
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good take. I have no idea what her. I mean, I know nothing about the weather other than that. I can just go
Yeah.
sit on the porch and watch a tornado almost any storm season I want to. So,
Right.
but let's get into a little bit about football. Tell us just a little bit what this season's been like for you guys, and what this recovery process has specifically been like for you.
The season is very exciting. We got a new coaching staff, of course. Everybody knows. Great, great coaching staff. Um, just building the culture up from ground zero. And I feel like our team is doing a great job in just listening and accepting it and actually buying in. So last week we lost. It's all right. We have the windshield mentality. We're about to keep it going, keep it rolling. As far as the recovery process, it's tough. I'm at the end of the recovery process. I got about 2 to 3 weeks left. I got to keep telling myself, keep pushing because mentally you get to the end, you're like, okay, I think I'm good. I don't need this anymore. But that's when you have to push in and dial in even more. So, it's going good though. It's almost over, and I can't wait for it to be over. Honestly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. I got a question for you. So you've been with the team since what, 2019, right? So this is what, your third year on the roster?
Yeah, I came
What's the
in
difference?
2020 spring.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, you came spring 2020
Mhm.
pandemic. I know things were super weird that year, and then you had to play last year. Looked up some of your numbers or whatnot. Let me ask you this question though: DeMarco Murray, he's been there for a while. He was there with the old regime and the new one. What's the difference you've noticed with him since things have kind of shifted over as far as coaching goes?
Um, DeMarco is a great coach. Like he's one of the best coaches I've ever had in my life. Honestly, I think he is the best coach I ever had in my life. And so when you have a coach at that caliber, nothing really changes. You keep the small things, or the main thing, and that's what he has been doing. He's just a great teacher. You learn from the best who did it at both levels, the college football level and the NFL level. And so everybody in the room is dialed in and listening to what he has to say because we know that it's going to work. So I think he stayed a great coach, honestly.
What's the one thing you hear the most from him in practice? Does he yell Yamaha at all, y'all out there?
Hey, yeah, every once in a while he yell that I don't know. I think about when we're in like one-on-one situations with like a DB or something. He wants us to stretch and then cut up his side. We hear that a lot. Um,
Okay,
Yamaha has to be probably the main one, honestly.
really?
Yeah, he says that quite a bit.
Do y'all actually know what that means, or is it just
No
something
clue.
that he says and we just take go with
Yeah,
it, right? We just ride with it. Yeah, that
I
it's
tried
cool. Yeah,
to look it
Yamaha.
up on Google. Nothing came up besides like a motorcycle or something like that. I think something I don't no clue.
That's about all I ever known. I guess that's just the phrase he ran when he would run people over in the NFL.
Maybe
I've
yeah
always
maybe
wondered what that was, but no one can give me that answer. Dang it!
right.
Can you investigate what that
Yeah,
actually means and bring it
I'll
back to us
definitely
next
ask him
time?
tomorrow.
Oh, that's gonna
Sweet,
make
sweet,
so
sweet.
many people happy. That's gonna make so many people happy.
Yeah, we see it so often. It's always wondering what does this really mean. So okay, that's cool. That's cool. On the recruiting trail, you played. Where did you play before? Southwest Oklahoma.
Yes, sir. Southwestern Oklahoma
What
State.
was it like being recruited? Like, what was the recruiting process for you? What was it like having all the coaches come in and talk to you and all of that? What was it like going through that process?
It was a very exciting time for me because playing high school football at a 4A school in Texas, you're very close to your football team. Everybody that I played with in high school, we were all playing together since Pee Wee, honestly. And so we got to the high school level into our senior years. We couldn't wait to get those offers. And I remember getting my first offer, I believe my senior year in the summer, Wasu. And I was like, honestly, I don't even know where the school is from, but I'm super excited. I always wanted an offer, and it's finally here. And then, they finally started kind of rolling in a lot of D2 schools. And then I remember I was talking to Baylor a little bit when we made it to state. We got blown out at state, and I didn't hear from him after that. So maybe I don't know what happened on that one, but it was just very exciting. And then when it came down to deciding what school, that's when it got more, very serious and kind of difficult in choosing which one is best for me. I wanted to be a meteorologist in high school, but obviously the schools that I had offers from didn't have meteorology, and so that's when I chose to become a nurse and pursue nursing school. And I felt like SWASU was the best school for that fit, so that's the reason I picked there. And just it felt like it was home for me.
Okay, what led you to Oklahoma then?
That offer. It was closer. It was close enough to home, but also far enough because I had an offer from like I forgot the school name. It was in Pennsylvania. It was a D2 school out there, and I was like, I'm gonna just go far away from home. I don't even know what the program is about. But then I was like, honestly, I need to be able to have a car. I can't drive all the way to Pennsylvania. I'm not about to do that. So I just chose Oklahoma. Next state up. You always hear about them. So
Hmm.
No, yeah, for sure.
That's fair.
That's interesting. Did not hear the nursing school thing last time that we talked. So that was an interesting, different development there.
your question about the Oklahoma, are you saying like how did I choose to come to OU or how did I chose to get to
Yes.
Oklahoma? Okay, yeah, OU, that's a totally
Yeah.
different
Both.
story. I'm sorry.
Oh, word.
I
Oh,
misinterpreted
okay.
that
Well,
question.
I mean, the state you came here because it's not too
Right.
far away.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
okay.
I thought you were talking about SWASU. I
Both
chose to come to
actually. Just
OU. Yeah, I chose to come to OU because, I feel like I belonged at a, higher competition. And so I remember talking to my mom and I told her I was about to transfer. And I told her I wanted to transfer to TCU just because it's in Fort Worth. I was like 10 minutes away from my house. And she's like,
mhm.
well, you're already in Oklahoma. Why not go to OU? And during this time, that's when OU was about to play LSU in the playoffs. And I was like, yeah, how in the world am I going to make it on that roster? Honestly, I don't know how. And then she told me there's something about, guys telling me that you should be able to go to OU and pursue there and do big things there. So when your mom tells you that, especially a message from God, you go ahead and do that. And so I
Mhm.
jump on a leap of faith, and transferred over here and tried out, got on the team, and the rest is history.
Okay. So in the recruiting trail, I got one more question for you, and I'll pass to you, PG. On the recruiting trail, when the coaches started coming by the crib and having those conversations, what's some of the funniest things that you ran into? Like who was the funniest coach that came over?
Man, I'm trying to remember.
I know you had some
I,
funny moments because there's always some of
honestly,
them coaches that do weird stuff. You're like, bro, what is this?
well, I didn't have any in-home visits, but I remember one
Okay.
coach, that coach from Pennsylvania. That dude was hilarious. He said that he coached Kareem Hunt, and he had like the most countryest accent ever. And he's like, man, he's like, hey, is your mama Dukes at the house? He's like, man, let me talk to Mama Dukes. Yeah, man, I'm gonna take care of your son. I'm gonna take care of him now. Like you come here, he gonna get an iPad and everything. He gonna be straight. I coach Kareem Hunt now. You see what Kareem at? I was like, all right. I mean, what does the school have to offer? That's just me though. I don't know. That was pretty funny to me.
He coached Kareem Hunt. That's what matters, man.
That's what matters. Yeah, that's what matters.
Hey, and you
All
getting that free iPad. I bet that's what matters
right.
too.
And the free iPad. You can't forget about that. I was happy about that. So that was just funny to me.
Oh, that's good.
No,
That's a good one. I love good recruiting stories. I've been listening to some national guys. They've talked to some guys from the NFL, and they'll talk about those stories and recruiting and how some you'll have those funny country accent coaches up in the Northeast and be like, I don't know how this dude ended up at this school, but he
Right.
should be coaching at Louisiana Monroe.
Right. She's hilarious.
But they're just hilarious. Okay,
no,
so you guys are
that
two. You
was a
got
good day.
two.
Hey, that was a good question because
Yeah, that was.
I've
I've never had a
not thought
question
about
like
that
that.
one. I've never thought about that one before. I'm about to use that one. So,
Hey man, recruiting stories are great.
yeah. Hey, Jaden, give us just a little bit insight to how the team's doing right now, especially after coming off of a tough loss on Saturday. I know OU fans are. We talked about it earlier, but they get a little antsy sometimes, and yeah, I'll call y'all out. How's the team feeling after the loss? Are they feeling like this is a good opportunity to grow and take the next steps to go throughout the season, or what's the room been like for you guys?
Yeah, what's the vibe?
Uh, the loss definitely hurt. It was quiet locker room, sad locker room, but we know that when this type of thing happens, it's a great learning opportunity. We're all mature enough in the locker room, and we have some great staff around us to let us know this is a great learning opportunity, and we're only defined here on out. How we respond. That's just like life. Something bad happens. It either shows how good of a person you are or how bad of a person you are, and this is going to define who we are. So we're going to be all right. We got the windshield mentality. So.
All right, love to hear that. So, I've had Danny Stutzman on and Ethan Downs on, and one thing that they pointed out was just how they really wanted to take that next step this year and be leaders in the locker room, right? Be leaders in their specific rooms that they're in. What is it? What have you seen from them to help like inspire the team and get the team going, especially through a tough time like this?
They've been great leaders, just doing the little things correctly, but in a big way. Doing the little things speaks volumes, and when they do it, we all look and listen, and we're like, okay, we should be doing that. Like we have accountability boards and stuff like that. They have like 0 points of negative. It's always good. Just showing up, watching extra film, getting extra workouts in. They're doing that, and we see that, and they're being leaders about it, and they're carrying themselves in a different or in an uncommon way. So
Yeah,
Okay.
so tell us a little bit
So
more about this board you talked about because this is pretty interesting.
yeah, it's just to hold our team accountable. You got to have accountability in the team, and just doing the little things right, just showing up to class on time, and turning in your work, little stuff like that.
that's
Interesting.
good stuff. Okay. Speaking of doing the little things and everything, Schmitty, he done made his valiant return to Oklahoma. What's it been like working out with him?
Honestly, awesome. He's getting the best out of everybody. Uh, he's getting things out of me that I never knew I had in me. Honestly, that's the type of coach he is, and it's good for our team. It's good for our program. So
So when you heard he was coming, so did you hear the rumors about him before he came?
the whole team did. Hey,
And so when he
we
when he
hey,
walked in the door, you probably looked at him like,
I remember our first workout like it was yesterday. Like
"Yes, give it
when
to me."
they when they got into the came in the spring, I remember everybody talking like, man, like Schmitty coming. Like, the boys at Texas A&M said he don't play, and then like the old cat said, "Oh, you said he doesn't play." And so I remember the first workout came, and we heard the rumors about you being late, and so I think our workout started at like 6 a.m. I'm not kidding. Like everybody was in the locker room at 4:45 because we thought we had to be there like an hour early, and so we didn't have to actually walk into the weight room until like 5:55, and so we were just waiting around the locker room because we were just so nervous. And then the first workout was just like just to seeing who we got. Honestly, I think we stretched a little bit. Well, we stretched a lot, like stretched in ways we never stretched before. So we were super sore the next day, and then I think we like ran a couple of sprints. But I know the anticipation was very nerve wracking. We the whole locker room was nervous, me included.
I can see that. I can see that, and that, of course, that's the stories you hear. It's especially in the NFL. You know, a lot of the NFL strength and conditioning coaches and head coaches, they know of a guy Schmitty made, and they were
Right.
prepared for that. And so when it came to them summer workouts, when it started getting hot, um, does he show any mercy to you all?
Oh my goodness! Like the answer to that question. You know the answer. He shows no mercy, especially to our linemen, because that's the foundation of the team. They come in during the heat of the day. They did that on purpose. They come in at 10 a.m. in the summer, while we, the skill guys, come in 6 and 7. And they come in at 10. Oh man, no mercy at all. You
Oh,
gonna finish if you don't make your rep on the last rep and you miss it by a second and you made all your reps, but you missed that last one, you're coming back at 3 o'clock and doing the entire workout over again. I've seen it happen plenty of times. He does not play at all.
did he
I
make
can't
you
do it.
throw up? Did he make you throw up at one of the practices?
I don't want to say luckily because like obviously I don't want to be hurt, but luckily, I couldn't run. I had my knee surgery, so I didn't
Okay.
I didn't get to experience the running and the actually summer Smitty for me myself personally. But in the rehab process, now that I'm running and stuff like that, we have a thing called the pit where the injured people go during practice and work out during the entire practice. Let me tell you, I ain't missing nothing no more. I'm in there. Listen. I'm in there working. I work out like 2 times a day. Oh my goodness. Sometimes my body
So
hurting so bad where I can't even sleep right. It's a good
oh,
feeling
that
though.
is awesome. That is awesome. So you're probably in the best shape of your life, even
I,
post surgery.
Honestly, I think so, and I think that's the reason I feel like a lot of people who get injured, like Adrian Peterson, or the MRI or not the MRI, the ACL, and
Yeah, they
they
still
come
tear.
back
Yeah.
better. They come back faster and stronger. I see why, because you focusing on those little muscles that you never focused on before, and you
Hmm.
just on a grind to actually get back. We have great trainers, great PTs. Jeff is helping me a lot. He's doing a great job, man. I couldn't be anywhere without him, honestly.
I love to hear it. Love to hear it. I would love to see that explosiveness. Come on, let's go. You can return
Man,
for Texas, right?
man, that's the plan. That's the plan. It's a God's plan, though. We gotta see.
Yeah. So, have you seen a huge difference in just how the team is able to go out there and play? Because that first game of the year at home was pretty hot. So I think what were they saying? It was like 106 on the field or something like that. Have you seen a difference in how the team plays this year with the strength and conditioning versus how they have the previous year or two?
I mean, I can just see a difference of attack mode or attack mode. We're more in shape, and we have the confidence to know that we're in shape because of the things that we did in the summer. I honestly think that's the main difference is the mindset going into no matter what circumstances, cold or hot, no matter if we have to play 10 overtimes or 4 quarters, we know that we're going to be in the best shape. We're going to be in better shape than the other team just because of the things that we did in the summer. So I think that's just the main difference.
Yeah, so talking a little bit about the summer and some of those off-season things, and we talked about leadership before, but Dylan Gabriel's been getting run through the mud by OU fans lately, and I'm going to be somebody that sticks up for him a little bit here. We all get it. Quarterbacks miss passes, things like that. I know people want to say, "Oh, it changes the outcome of the game," but it really doesn't. So, what has the leadership of Dylan Gabriel been like in that offensive side of the room, and especially for you guys, what has his leadership done and been like for this team?
He is a great leader, like one of the best leaders I've been around. He's very vocal. Like I mentioned, people doing the little things correctly. He's one of those guys that just stands out. I remember last week, because me and him have the same class together, so we were doing homework and stuff like that. And he was he had like tons of notes and notes getting ready for Kansas State, watching film for like 8 hours a day. Like I'm telling you, I've never seen nobody prepare like that before. And I was like, man, how long you been in here? He's like, since 8 a.m. I was like, man, like this dude is committed. Like when I tell you about somebody committed, it is Dylan Gabriel. Like that man is committed to being his best for our team, and I see it every single day.
Yeah, and it's showing on the stat board. He's close to having a career year this year, definitely in completion percentage, but he's definitely going to have a career year when it comes to touchdowns and yardage. So he's got a lot of talent around him. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because I feel like the OU fans need to back off Dylan a little bit just because he missed a couple passes. You know, he's
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
people want to
All
compare him
right.
to the previous quarterbacks. Can't do that.
You're right. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Jane. I got a question for you. As far as running backs go, who do you model your game after? Who was it that you looked up to growing up?
Man, I remember when I was in high school, my freshman year. I believe that's when Zeke was at Ohio State, and
Mm-hmm.
they beat Alabama. I was like, man, I'm trying to be like Zeke. Like that dude just toting it. So in high school, I kind of modeled my game off of Zeke. I used to watch his highlights all the time before games like that. But at the end of my high school career, I think that's when he set out a year, to not set out, but he boycotted kind of for a check, And he came
Mm-hmm.
back and wasn't that same Zeke that we saw. I started becoming a huge Saquon fan. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to be
Okay.
like Saquon. That dude, the way his lower body is so strong and the way he's so powerful and fast and also gonna be a threat in the run game and the pass game. That's kind of who I model my game after now. Even with the drip comes, I look at his Penn State drip and all that. But then also another running back is just my old teammate Kennedy Brooks. Like I learned so much from him. He was like a great teacher to me. Me and him were super close in the running back room, and he just told me how his first year was because last year was technically like my first year playing like that and getting opportunities at the running back
Mm-hmm.
position, and so like he just helped me a lot. I learned a lot from him. I learned how to actually dissect film with him. How to be patient because he like the king of being patient in the backfield, and so I took a lot after him.
Yeah, so good news is Saquon and Zeke both have gotten touchdowns. Game's tied at 13. So I don't know if you guys are watching the game or not, but I got it
Right.
pulled up on the side right here. Did Jeremiah
Yeah.
ever get to that meeting with Saquon before he got cut by the Giants?
Man, so I forgot that the time zones are different, and so I remember I think like either August or September. They're in camp mode. I called him at like 10:30 our time. He woke up. He's like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" I was like, "Oh man, I forgot. Like, I'm sorry. I was trying to see if he's around Saquon. Like, he knows that's like a joke, so I always be playing around him. But no, I did not. Just to answer your question, I did not get the FaceTime call, but it's all good. I'll just have to meet him in person one day or play against him one day. So or either
Yeah.
give
Make
him
sure
a
you get that
forecast.
jersey swap. Do that jersey swap with him whenever you make it to the league, man. We definitely. I
Right.
want to see that on TV. So I'm gonna get a snapshot. And I'm gonna tweet it to you and be like, "See, weatherman, there we go.
Yeah.
You there?"
And the funny thing about it is, like a couple of months ago, I saw Zeke post on Twitter something about every time he washes his car, it rains. And I commented under there. I was like, "Hey man, you gotta let me know if you need a weatherman or something. I can help that, not happen." And then he like followed me and then retweeted my tweet. I was like, "Oh, all right then. I guess he's serious about this." Well, now I gotta tune in to Dallas Fort Worth news area. That's my family anyways
Mm-hmm.
down there, so I always look at their weather. So
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
and shoot, now you got a connection, right? Now you got a
all
guy
right,
that you can learn from that's in the league and can give you all these pointers. Because,
all right,
hey, I think Zeke's still a good quarterback. I know some people ain't as high on him, but I think he's still a good quarterback.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Zeke's still cleaning at the backfield, man. He's still running through. I mean, he ran for a touchdown and everything. So
Mhm.
we're gonna get back to old Zeke hopefully in the near
Hopefully, yeah,
future.
we'll
And I
be all
know
right.
that Dallas loves Oklahoma running backs. I mean, Jerry Jones has pulled a lot of Sooners. He's pulled a lot of Cowboys. right
Right.
there on that roster. So hopefully we can get you back there, back home. That'll be even nicer.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I know my family members will be fighting over tickets over that one. So sometimes
Just
it's
Shoot.
don't
gonna be
tell them
too
that you're
close to
playing
home.
anymore.
Yeah, I'm be like, I ain't playing and show up on Sunday night on TV or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into a little bit of just outside of OU. Let's dive into just a little bit of college football. Um, I know you probably talked about OU a lot, so there's been a lot of crazy things going on. Coaches are getting fired left and right. Upsets are happening all over the place. Week 1 was just phenomenal because it felt like it was the longest off season ever to lead up from the shortest season we've ever had, which
Mhm.
2020 was the shortest, but it
Mhm.
2021 might have given it a run for its money the way it felt. What are some of your takeaways from some of the programs this year? Let's just start with Kansas. Kansas is 4-0, and they're taking college football by storm right now, especially with not being ranked in the top 25. What's your thoughts on them? Because I know you guys played them last year. They played you guys tough. So is this
Yeah.
something that you guys as players see, or is it a shock to you guys as well?
Well, I remember when we traveled to Kansas last year and played them. Like I said, that was like my first opportunity to start playing. And so I knew
Mhm.
that I would be able to. That's your mindset, at least our old mindset. I have the opportunity to play. I'm going in that game and play, and then it went down to a close game. Like, hey, what's going on? But after playing against them, because I played on special teams. After just playing against them, they're doing something. Like they're building a culture of like just playing hard and being disciplined. They have some athletes, man. I think the quarterback went to a school in Mansfield because I went to high school in Kennedale. That's in Texas, and so
Mhm.
that Mansfield's like down the street, and he was a really good quarterback there. I remember that. And so going into the game, and he's the starting quarterback. I knew that he was going to be pretty good, and he put on the show. And so now they got belief that they're actually going to be pretty good, and that's why they're taking college football by storm right now.
Yeah, so I mean, we know KU's not beating Oklahoma, but what's your thoughts? Do you think they can get to 7 or 8 wins this year and go to a bowl game or maybe even higher?
I'm not in that locker room, so I don't really know, but I don't see why not. If they keep playing like they have been, I don't see why they can't. Honestly.
Yeah, they're going to be tough
So
competition for anybody.
Mm.
yeah, exactly. So when y'all played against them, what was something that you really noticed about them that jumped out in that game? Like one thing that made you be like, yeah, there's something a lot more here than what's at surface level when y'all played last year.
They never quit. They keep coming. And I think that's what changed
Yeah.
from previous years. I that was my first time actually playing against Kansas, but I remember I was on the team when they played Kansas here in Norman my first year here, and it just seemed like they kind of just laid down a little bit. And
Mm.
we just kept on running up the score on them, and so last year, I noticed a team once they went into halftime. I can't remember the exact score, but it was pretty close at halftime. And I feel like their locker room started being like, "Oh, like we can beat Oklahoma. Like let's go out here and do this." And they start like believing that hey, we're pretty good. And so I think that's what stood out to me. They just never quit. And they kept on coming.
What was your thoughts on that play where Caleb Williams hands the ball off to Kennedy, but the Kansas defenders are starting to get him, and he takes the ball away from Kennedy and runs? I mean, it blew everybody's mind because we didn't even know that you could do that, right?
Right.
I mean, it blew the refs' minds because they had to think about it for a minute. What was your thoughts on that? Like, did you know that he could do something like that, or?
I didn't even know what happened because watching from the sideline, it looks like it's about to be a fumble because I play running back. You know how the mesh point is supposed to be. And I was
Hmm.
like, hold on, that mesh is kind of too long. I hope the ball doesn't pop out. The next thing you know, I see him rolling down the sideline. I'm like, man, what type of magic trick was that? Is that legal? I remember I think all the coaches were shocked about that. They were like, man, we've never seen nothing like that since we've been coaching. It was crazy play. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we're on the good side of it. So
Yeah, it was
Ex-
it was crazy.
for
Exactly.
sure.
Definitely. Definitely. So, in your travels, and we're talking about other schools or whatnot, which stadium do you feel like was the loudest that you had been to?
It's funny. We talk about this in the locker room to the young guys all the time. It's well, we all know Red River. When we go down to Dallas, that's always rocking. But
But that's a
I
neutral
believe,
site. That's
yeah,
a half
that's
and
a neutral
half.
site.
So I get you. I get you.
But
It's half and half though.
I think when we played Kansas State in Kansas last year,
In Manhattan, so it's
yeah,
rocking at that stadium.
I'm telling you, it was so loud because I was on the starting kickoff and we went out there to kick. I'm talking about stadium rocking. It's so loud we can't even hear the whistle blow to kick the ball. Somebody jumps off sides on kickoff. We had to re-kick. Now the place is even more loud. Yeah, that place was rocking. But also, I think a close second was Oklahoma State last year. That was just super loud. Their fans was vicious, and Kansas State's fans or student section was real into the game. Their student section was right behind our bench, so we could hear literally everything they were saying. They could almost touch us, kind of felt like, So Kansas
Hmm.
State got to be the loudest when we played it last year, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah, so talking about loud stadiums, you guys got to play Nebraska last year at home on the 50th anniversary of the game. This year, you guys get to go to Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, unfortunately, you're hurt, so you don't get to play in that game. But
Hmm.
two, no, you didn't even get to go to Lincoln, did you?
No, I didn't get to go. Yes, because
Because I was
it's
going to
all
ask you
good.
about the atmosphere there, even with all of the drama that's going out in Lincoln.
Right. I didn't really get to experience that. I only heard like other players talk about it. They said it was super loud, but they quieted it down really quick. That's what I keep hearing. So as we saw on TV too. I mean, it sounded loud on TV to me the first couple of drives. But in person, I didn't
Yeah,
really get to experience that.
the one thing about Lincoln, Nebraska is 90,000 fans, and they pack that bad boy out constantly every
Yep.
year. I think what 200 and something plus sellouts in a row or something like that. Something
Right.
ridiculous. So yeah, I can't wait for you to be able to go to some of these larger stadiums,
Hmm.
especially this season as we keep going through. So, but that's interesting. That's interesting that Manhattan, Kansas was that worked up
Yeah.
because I know when y'all went up to Kansas and played up there in Lawrence, it was basically empty.
Now that's the funny part. So it was empty during the beginning of the game, and then at halftime, I guess their I don't know school's Twitter account posted, "Hey,
Radio announcer. It was a radio
yeah,
announcer. It's a local TV.
right," and they were like, "Hey, just go to the game. No ticket needed. Just go to the game." And so we
Pull
come out
up.
at halftime, and like it's crowded. We were like, "What is going on?" Like
Where these people
this is
come
intense.
from?
It was packed out after halftime. The beginning of the game was nobody there. It was like kind of looked like a high school game, honestly. But then after that, it just got packed out.
Yeah, I
That's
remember
crazy.
that. That was funny. I remember seeing that. I saw it on Twitter. People were
Yeah.
posting that they're giving tickets away because the game is so close. Please, just we really need you there. And then you look up post halftime, and it's like, wait a minute, there's 40,000 people here. Where'd these people come from? Like they
Right.
weren't here, literally 30 minutes ago when we went into the locker room. So yeah, that's an
Right.
interesting deal to run into.
Yeah. So, Jaden, tell us what has it been like to go up against some of the historical blue blood schools? So, Nebraska last year, Texas in the past, or Oregon in the bowl game. What has that been like to experience playing some of these blue blood programs?
Honestly, it's just a great experience. Honestly, I know that's like a vague answer, but coming from a D2 school, I used to watch them play Texas, like on our TV before we had to go play, or just even being in high school, having the dreams of playing in big games like this or being a part of it. I'm just super glad that I get to experience this and tell my future kids this and my grandchildren this. Like, yeah, I remember when Coach Dukes coached me. Like, I'm a part of history now. Like, that's just crazy to think about. And so, like when the first time we played Nebraska, that was the first time we played them in so long, and it was so loud. And I remember the old coach was just saying like, yeah, this is a historic game, teaching us about the rivalry and all that. And so just playing
Mm-hmm.
that, running out the tunnel, I can remember just seeing like all these fans all the way to the top, so loud. I'm like, man, this is like real life. And then my first experience at the Cotton Bowl last year, that was crazy. I remember I always watched that on TV since I was like 8 years old. So being
Mm-hmm.
a part of it, just it gives me goosebumps right now. I'm like, man, like I was really a part of that, and I still am. And then even Oregon, hearing the old stories about when OU played Oregon and the last little onside kick thing, and we actually get a chance to play them again. It was just awesome, especially with Coach Stoops. Man, like I can't believe just saying this right now that I was a part of that. Like that's just so crazy to think about. It was awesome though.
Yeah. So
That's
hold on. Tell us a little bit about that. You got to play under Bob Stoops. It was only for one game, maybe for a couple weeks, but what was that like? Because that's not something that y'all signed up for to play for Coach Stoops, and he
Right,
shows up and he's getting to coach y'all. Like, what was
man,
the feeling in the locker room and with you?
excitement. That was the main word to use was excitement in the locker room when we got to figure out that Coach Stoops we're about to be coached by Coach Stoops. I remember like I was just it was kind of surreal. I think the first week of practice, I went up to him in the hallway. I was like, "What's up, Coach Stoops? My name is Jaden Knowles. I'm a junior. I play running back." He's like, "I know who you are." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, then I'll see you on the practice field, Coach." That's just a cool like. I was like, man, like Coach Stoops knows me. Like I don't know, it was awesome. It's just he was
that's
a
a
great coach too. It was just super fun. We had a fun time with him.
that's a feel good moment. That's one of those, wow, Coach Stoops knows me. Who
Yeah,
I
I was
am.
like,
Like immediately.
man, he knew me. I was like, I must be doing something right. Like, keep on doing what I'm doing there. Coach Deuce knows
Keep
me.
that right, right. So going to that bowl game, you got to travel for that game, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. What was that like going into that atmosphere at a bowl game? I mean, y'all were down. What was that in San Antonio? What was it like traveling to the atmosphere of in bowl season?
It was a great experience. During that time we were all hurting a lot, so it was a great time for us to actually come together as a family, as brothers, and like we spent that time together for real, like on the practice field to whatever event that the bowl had us to be a part of to actually
Hmm.
the game field, and we needed that. We all came together and had a blast. Honestly, it was just a great time.
That's dope. Good bonding moment, I guess you could say.
Right.
Definitely going for that. I could totally dig that. All right, since you're getting healthy, um, and we've got, I say, by the time you're healthy, you'll have, of course, 4 trips. You'll have the Texas. You'll get to go back down to, the Red River. You'll be at the Cotton Bowl, which you've been before, twice already. So you're used to that. Which one of these schools are you most excited to check out? Going down to Ames, Iowa, playing Iowa State, going to West Virginia, playing the Mountaineers, or Lubbock, Texas, and watching Tech, playing against Tech.
Um, Hearing from old players that's played at all these stadiums, I think depending on what time we play West Virginia, if it's a night game, I feel like that place is going to be rocking. Because I remember the last time they played there, we were supposed to play there, but then it got canceled because of COVID, so we didn't get to go up
Mm-hmm.
there. But I remember, the old coaching staff talking about how loud it was the year before when they went there. Um, I'm looking forward to going there just because. Also, I've never been to, you know, that city before at all, Morgantown. Um, I also haven't been to. Well, I've been to Lubbock in high school. I always hear that their fans are the worst ones in Big 12. They don't.
Really?
That's what I hear. They go for their team. And if the opposing team, it's gonna be a long night over there on the sidelines with you. That's what I heard. I haven't experienced it yet, so I'm looking forward to experiencing that to see how it really is in Lubbock. So
Yeah,
Fascinating. Okay.
I'll be there in Lubbock, so you'll know that you'll at least have one OU fan there cheering you on.
yes, sir.
But let's be honest, you want to go to Morgantown because you want to play in the snow because at
Honestly,
that
like
time of the year, you never know. It could be snowing.
I'm telling you, because I remember just playing NCAA on my freaking PlayStation 2. I used to always make the games to where it's snowing, just because we don't get that in Texas too much. So like,
Dope.
I think I played in ice in Weatherford, Oklahoma, because out there they usually get a lot of snow and ice. Here it's just straight
Hmm.
ice. So I played in snow like a couple times, but not like snow like Morgantown would get. So that would be
Powder, that
awesome.
actual
I would be
powder, and
awesome.
not,
Right.
yeah.
It's just so cool looking on TV when you see that, like Ohio State and Michigan playing or something like that. That's just cool to me. I don't know.
No, I agree
Yeah,
with you. And the good thing is, like PG said, it's November 12th, so there's a good chance that that shift in temperature is going to be rapid. You might get that.
Yeah,
So Weather
hopefully a
Manager, you have
cold
to let
front will
us
come
know.
through. Yeah, I gotta
Right?
I
Yeah,
gotta
you
look
gotta
at the
keep us
outlook.
posted.
Right, I gotta look at the outlook and see, what type of weather we're gonna have.
yeah, yeah. No, it's listen, usually around that time, I can't remember. It was Baker Mayfield, but I can't remember what year of Baker Mayfield they went and it was snowing. I think it was around this time though, around
It was
that time
like
of the year.
yeah, it was like November. What was that? 2016, I think,
Yep,
Yeah,
or
16.
it
17.
It
was.
was November
Yeah,
November 19th, and they played there, and it was snowing. Yeah.
yep.
Uh,
So you might
because
just
I
get lucky.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Well, hey, tell us about some of this cool gear that you guys get. I see you're wearing the OU shirt. You're repping a little
Hmm.
bit.
Yes, sir.
We see some of the shoes that that some of the players are getting. Do all of y'all get those shoes? And then come on, those cleats are fire. So
Right.
tell us a little bit about some of this gear and what's some of the most favorite gear that you've gotten.
Honestly, the shoes is my favorite gear. Every shoe that we get, I put them in my closet, take them out for special occasions. I think my favorite shoe that I got was the Cool Grays because at that time we got them when they had first dropped or something like that, and so everybody was like, "Dang, y'all got Cool Grays!" Like, man, I wish I played for OU. I had a lot of people tell me that. But yeah, everybody gets the same gear. I believe when you graduate, you get like extra stuff because that's a big accomplishment of you graduating. But other than that, yeah, everybody gets about the same gear. We get a lot of shirts. If the coaches think of something for their unit or something like that, or not even unit, but either offense or defense, they might give us some shirts that says something about offense or defense on there. Um, but yeah, I mean, we have great gear. It's great being sponsored by Jordan.
Yeah. So they give
Yeah,
y'all care packages for graduating.
Well, I
That's
haven't graduated
dope.
yet, but I think so. I think so.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna hold you to that. I want to see your package when you
Yeah, I'll
graduate.
let you know. I
You
don't
know you're
know
gonna graduate.
100%. That's what I heard, so I don't know for sure or not. But yeah, I'll let you know for sure.
you got those
Bet.
cool Jordan 4s.
I sure do.
Oh,
They're in the
those are so
closet.
nice.
Yep,
Those are so nice. Those are
they're in
those
the
are the
closet.
coolest.
And it's just so cool to me how like they can transform the ones to cleats. Like that's awesome to me. I mean, it looks so cool on the field. You know?
Yeah, those
Yeah,
11s are beautiful. They're
Oh yeah,
beautiful as
yes
cleat
for
for with
sure.
that patent leather.
Yes,
yeah. No, y'all definitely got it being a Jordan brand school, which there's only what, 4 or 6 Jordan brand schools and out of 130 college football teams. So
Hmm.
yeah,
that's an elite level of competition to be in and to get that kind of gear. So
right.
definitely helps the recruiting out. So
It definitely does. You first walk in the door, you see all these Jordan stuff everywhere. And like, all right, so when do I get my Jordans? Well, you got to come to the school, man. You got to commit. Go ahead and commit. That's what I was
shoot,
telling some of the recruits.
they buy so many because I've went to the equipment cells and they've got stacks of shoes up in there. They got so many for y'all. They
Right,
ain't ever gonna run out of shoes.
right.
Well, tell us, have you had a chance to watch any other college football games outside of just any of the film that you're watching this year? And if so,
Yeah.
what's been your favorite game?
Well, I remember I watched Nebraska and who's the first game that they played against?
Northwestern.
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 Yeah, I watched that game. That was a great game. I remember vividly watching Texas and Alabama play. I was like, man, this is a great game. That's probably
Okay,
one of the best
okay.
games. Yeah, that's probably one of the best games I watched this season so far, honestly.
Tell us a little bit more about that one. What did you see from Texas and Alabama there that made that game so great? Because
Um,
as a fan, I love it just because it's two blue bloods going up against each other.
right. Like when I'm still a player, so I watch the game kind of differently. Just seeing what
Hmm.
they run and all types of stuff like that. But first of all, Alabama had too many penalties. They had too many penalties, and then Texas just capitalized on those missed opportunities. And so that's what stuck out to me the most. But what made it such a good game, just two teams really just going at it. One team just really just trying to get the upset, trying to prove everybody wrong. Like you could just tell by the way they were playing. That's what they wanted. And I enjoyed watching it. It was a great game. You want games like that to be when you're watching it. You want games to be close and all that. Like I said, when you're watching it, so
There was a part of me that
Yeah.
really wanted Texas to win that game, so that
hey,
I
yeah,
could
you're not the only
hear
one.
so
Yeah.
that I could hear a Texas player get on a microphone and say, "We're back,"
You're
just for
back.
them to go lose to Kansas again this year.
Oh man, that's funny.
So with that leads me to a question. As a player, like you mentioned, you watch the games differently. Like is it hard for you to watch the games out of just enjoyment, or do you find yourself always trying to break down the film while watching the game on accident?
I don't. I think the only game where I like don't break it. Honestly, no.
Like it's
I
just
always try.
mindless watching the
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
it always just constantly in my mind. Like if I'm watching, I don't know, even in NFL. If I'm watching NFL, I imagine that I'm the running back in the backfield. And I'm like, okay, what front are they in?
Hmm.
Are they in this front? Okay, what coverage they're in? They're in that coverage. Oh, there's a corner crash coming. Okay, if that came in our offense, would I pick that up or not? Or is the guard or tackle going out to that? I'm always thinking like that. But like, I think the Super Bowl, I was just like, man, like this is a great game. I wouldn't even, really diving deep into it like that. So
Yeah, I've worked in my former life. Well, actually, one thing I do on the side, I run music at minor league basketball games, and I also am a backup for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I'll be at games, I'll run music, the prompts and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear them chanting, getting people to chant. So I've done that for about 13 years. And one thing I've always struggled with is when I watch an NBA game, I'll pay attention to what the DJs are playing more so than the game itself. And I'm like,
right,
ooh, that was a bad choice. Why would you choose this in
right.
transition? No, that's a good choice. Like, wait, no, no, no. Watch the game. Watch the players play. Just pay attention to, don't even watch the sets. Just watch them play. So I
That's
always
hilarious.
wondered as a player, does that just, it just makes it hard for you to be able to just mindlessly enjoy football like most fans do because you find yourself looking at the formations, trying to see where the
Mhm.
hole is. You start paying attention to the little nuances in the game.
Yeah, I remember Kobe. I remember Kobe said like he doesn't even watch basketball because he does
Mm-hmm.
that. But like, I mean,
He
I
breaks
kind
it
of
down.
enjoy it though. Yeah, I kind of enjoy it though because it helps me out. Um, you
It's
get those
true.
mental reps. That's how I think of it. I try to enhance my opportunity as many times as I can. Like I said, I watch the running backs and see how they hit the holes and all that. Pad level and if you should have made a cut here or there. But that's just me. I enjoy it.
So do you do that on Madden too?
Not at all. I'm trying to win. I mean, it comes naturally because you're on the sticks. You're on the sticks, so you try to win on purpose, but uh, it's just natural. It feels like you're actually in the game, honestly. So I guess I do that also with Madden. So,
I
Yeah.
was
So,
about to
who's your
ask,
favorite team in
like,
Madden?
yeah, who you playing with?
man,
Who you running the locker room with? What team are you pulling up and you taking everybody's chips with?
look, I'm a Cowboys fan, like die hard, but on Madden, I'm running with Arizona, Kyler Murray,
Ooh.
quarterback scramble to the crib. What I'm talking about.
You
That's
got to
all
roll
I'm
with
doing.
them Chiefs. You got to roll with them Chiefs. You can't go wrong with Patrick
That's
Mahomes.
cheating. You cheating. You cheat with the Chiefs. Come on, man.
There's basically a rule with you can't play with Mahomes like you couldn't play with was that 2004 2007 Michael Vick. Like
Oh,
there's
right.
certain players you can't
Yeah.
play. You
You
can't
just
play
can't
with.
play
You
with
know,
them.
you know.
I remember when Lamar Jackson, like, first popped out in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
nobody could play with Lamar. No, you can't do that. You cheating, man. Or even when Odell did the little catch with the Giants, it's like, man, you can't play with them. He always gonna catch it. They trying to remake that catch.
So are you gonna play with the Dolphins now? They got Tariq Hill. You gonna take advantage of that?
Probably not. I probably just play with the Cowboys in Arizona, cause I don't really be playing games like that, you know.
Oh, okay.
But I'll
Who's
play,
the
man.
best on
If
the
somebody,
sticks in the locker room?
Oh, we know
I,
the answer to this one.
I think Jackson Sumlin. That's what I heard. Like I said,
Oh,
I'm not on the game. I'm not on the game like that. So if my teammates see this, they're probably gonna be like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" This is what I hear because my locker is right next to Jackson's, and he's always talking about get on the sticks. So I'm just say
I
Jackson
see. I
Sumlin.
heard Bowman. I heard it's Bowman. Billy
Bowman.
Bowman.
I heard Jackson.
You know
That
what? During the winter break for you guys before the bowl game or whatever, when you guys got extra free time, y'all need to run a little Madden tournament for charity.
that sounds like a great idea. We
Y'all,
should do that. I'll
yeah, y'all
communicate
can have
that.
the fans put money on y'all, see who's gonna win, and then
Right.
donate it all to charity. That would be fun. I would tune in for that.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll have to ask compliance and all that about that and see. It would be great.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up here because I know you've had a busy day. You've had a rough one with practice. You've got another big day coming up for you tomorrow, along with the week. But is there anything that has really stuck out to you so far this month, or anything that you really just want to say to Sooner fans?
Keep showing out. Y'all are doing an amazing job of being loud and supporting us. We just really appreciate that. When big third downs come up and the stadium is rocking, like we use that to our advantage. We gotta use that to pressure the opponents. And I think y'all doing a great job. I know y'all love the lights, so that got a lot of feedback on that. But just keep on doing what y'all doing. Y'all, like I said before, y'all are the best fans in the nation. Y'all can be an NFL team's fans because y'all so good. So
That's awesome. The lights are cool. I cannot lie. I actually called in to the Sports Animal to talk about the lights after the Kent State game because I thought they were that cool. So
yeah, they
now,
really.
mind you, Jim Traber ripped me a new one, but
What happened? I didn't know about that. What happened? You all right?
yeah, no. He was like everybody's calling in and talking about the dang lights. This is just another obsessed fan with the lights. He goes, let's talk about the game.
Oh, that's funny. You
So
mad about the lights? Hey,
hey,
all
listen,
right.
those lights are cool. It's something we haven't had in Norman. I've been going for all the home games for 7, 8 years now. And so
Mhm.
this was, this was new. It was different. It added a different vibe. In 2016 or is it 2016 or 2017, we got the south end zone. So we were surrounded, they rode that for like 1 or 2 years. And then it was the 125th anniversary. So we talked about the standard, they had Barry Switzer come on and talk about it.
Mhm.
Now we got the coaching change, which is revitalized, and then you got the light. So it definitely adds a different perspective from the fans' view. I'm curious to hear Jeremiah Hall's take on it since he was here this week of
Right,
what it's like to be a fan in the stadium now versus being a player on the field, and what that difference is like. So,
right.
but anyways, well, thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to continue to push out great content for you all. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, help me out. Additionally, if you're listening to this on Spotify, Google, or Apple, go ahead, leave me 5 stars, leave a review. Tell us what you like or don't like about the show. Tell us how we can improve. But other than that, we will see you guys next time.